Kia ora, Catherine. I can see you there. Welcome to the Justice Select Committee, or the subcommittee thereof. I won't waste any time, and I'll hand straight over to you for 10 minutes. Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. I know what you're going through. I've spent 9 years on the select committees, and it's very challenging. So I'm going to try and speak from the guts of the matter so that you can stay awake with the many, many submissions. I just want to acknowledge the last two that I just heard, Rebecca and Maya, because I was teaching Te Tiriti till 1 o'clock, and now I'm here, fresh from that experience, which shows how little many well-meaning citizens know about this topic. It's frightening. So kia ora everybody. I've got four main points, but I'll just let you know who I am. I was in Parliament for 9 years as an MP, but that was only a tiny part of my life. A lot of my life has been in community. I've been teaching Te Tiriti and learning about Te Tiriti for 35 years. And I've just come back from Waitangi for the 22nd year in a row where I've gone to sit and listen and learn. And my favourite submission on this bill was actually when Hana ripped it apart in the House. That's where it should have stopped. That should have been the end of this, because honestly, like the young wahine just said, it's embarrassing that this is called a national conversation by Mr. Seymours. Select Committee gives 5 minutes or 10 minutes for the most important constitutional issue that this country has, and tangata whenua are forced to defend a position. It's actually unacceptable. This, my first point is about this. Te Tiriti was signed between the Crown and Rangatira. Where is the conversation between the Crown and Rangatira over this? It's not happening. It's happening within the Kāwanatanga sphere. That is not right, and I'm sure you know that and have very little choice about that because that's where you're functioning. But it is actually not okay to exclude the other party. If it was an international treaty, which it is, how come the other party's been excluded? The Westminster system has excluded the voices of the people who actually signed Te Tiriti. And many, many people who submitted, of the hundreds of thousands, won't get heard. I'm very privileged to get heard, and I can't even remember which of my submissions got me through the gate. But I appreciate being here because I did a number for a number of groups, because I'm part of many groups. I did a number, and I'm grateful for that time. But actually, you guys, it's not your decision. This is not your decision. That's my first point. The second one I just want to touch on, because I am freshly inspired by Waitangi. I heard a wonderful kōrero there from Annette Sykes, who knows more than possibly any of us about constitutional treaty issues due to working in that space. Rangatiratanga was never ceded. So I'm not going to bother with what the ACT put up. You know what they put up. It's not about art. It's not about principles. It's actually an attack on the articles. That is super clear. Let's be honest about that and stop mucking around. It's an attack on the articles. So Article 1 of Te Tiriti o Waitangi, the Te Tiriti, there's not a whole lot of versions, there's various renditions, and then there's Te Tiriti, is very clear about limited governance, okay? You know that, don't you? Like, everyone knows that Kāwanatanga was limited governor, not government. It wasn't the same as giving away the power of, why would these people give their power away? There is absolutely no reason why they would. And they didn't. So when you look at the words of Te Tiriti in Article 1, limited governance, Kāwanatanga, Article 2 has the word tino before the word rangatiratanga. It's not tino Kāwanatanga. That would be absolute Crown authority, right? That's not in Te Tiriti. It's tino rangatiratanga, and that's the point Annette made at Waitangi. So absolute rangatiratanga. One of them is an absolute, one is a qualified, agreed, which comes from he whakaputanga. If you know about this, then you know about why it's a limited governance that was allowed. Okay. So just think about the word tino, absolute authority. That has not been ceded. My next point is about Article 3. So all the stuff about equality, i.e. sameness, it's kind of embarrassing when just listening to Rebecca's story about her mother and the pain that goes with those stories, to think that we're actually saying that we have equality under law now, because we clearly don't. And we haven't had, because this country was colonized based on white supremacy. And if we can't face that fact, we are not going to heal the harm that is taking place. So Article 3, equality, the word, does not appear in Te Tiriti. Article 3 is about Māori rights to British citizenship. And this is, again, this is inspired by Tina Nutt's kōrero. If Māori had ceded sovereignty, which I know some people in the Crown think they did, why would you need Article 3? Why would you need it? Why would they have to be given the rights of British citizenship? They already had them if they'd ceded sovereignty. Can we just have a little bit of consistency about this? So let's be consistent in our understanding that sovereignty was never ceded, and therefore Article 3 is a negotiated arrangement for dual citizenship that tangata whenua took as one of their gains from Te Tiriti. It's actually really, really simple. They did not sign away sovereignty. That's why they actually negotiated Article 3. So I think it's really important, like, just not to get hung up on what is being said by people who actually don't have any scholarship in this field and have no experience of it, and just keep perpetuating these false notions so that people can continue to be confused. Confusion benefits people in power. It does not benefit the debate that we should be having. My next point, I know time goes really fast, so I don't want to talk too much because I'd love it if you ask me some questions.
We've got 3 minutes left, Catherine.
Okay, my last point is there's referendum reference in this bill. We can't have a referendum. I've just spent 35 years teaching people, and with goodwill, 90%, if not 99% of those people don't know what he whakaputanga is, cannot name the articles of Te Tiriti, and do not know anything about what happened in the land wars. And in fact, the idea of a referendum is a disgrace. It's like asking people who know nothing to vote about something they don't know, and then saying that that represents the people's will. That is a terrifying prospect. And as those of us who are educators are completely opposed to it, because we know that the knowledge about this is from talkback, not from actually learning, because we don't teach this thoroughly in this country, and people are just starting to get their head around it. We should not be voting on it. It's a ridiculous idea, and it's also a breach of Te Tiriti. So any questions? Oh, no, that's right. That's your job, Duncan.
That's my job. Look, sorry for the picture. My internet's a bit funny today, but I'll go to Steve Abel for a question.
Kia ora. Thank you, Catherine, and your long-term advocacy and your big influence on a lot of tangata tiriti in terms of our knowledge of the treaty as well.
Kia ora.
I wonder if you perceive this in the span of history as sort of a blip where we see a new level of galvanization across tangata whenua and tangata tiriti to push towards genuine constitutional transformation, where we actually uphold te tiriti, we actually learn about our history, we actually embody or allow tino rangatiratanga to be fully embodied by iwi Māori. And is that trajectory sort of unstoppable, and this is just a blip, a moment in time?
Yeah, great pata. I actually think it's unstoppable, but that does not mean there are going to be problems along the way, because this is a backlash situation. It's a fear-based backlash which is being manipulated. I don't think it's stoppable, because I think the tangata whenua, not just here but all over the planet, the indigenous people of this planet are unstoppable, and they offer so much to us, particularly for survival of the planet. So I'm really, really grateful that I feel it's unstoppable, but I'm really, really ashamed that we're having this debate, so-called, because I think it is just a step backwards into feeding on ignorance and fear and people's privilege that they don't want to share. So I agree with you. We're moving. I went on the hiko. I've never seen so many Pākehās. I went on the hiko in 2005, and there were so many more Pākehā and non-Māori, tangata tiriti, tauiwi, whatever words. So yeah, we're moving. We will not be stopped by this bill or any of the other bills that are attacking te tiriti right now. There are many other bills that do that right now, not just this one. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you, Catherine. And look, I think we'll leave it there, but thank you for taking the time to make a submission. Thank you for your written submission as well. Members, our next submitter